tier clan tag. They're a top clan in the game, right up there with the likes of Boo and JV4. And we are in the grand finals of an impromptu tournament. These are two diamond level players, both looking to take first place and win that community color prize. We have Rez on Bodvar and PXshadow on Azuri. So loading into game one here, we'll see what stage we're on in just a second. We're going to Shipwreck Falls for game one.
2, 1, brawl!
And that weapon's going to fall. PXshadow is going to cover it with a few dive kicks and an unarmed combo. Both players with a sword right now. Bodvar having the strength advantage, but PXshadow putting out a lot of pressure and taking that minor early game damage lead. And PXshadow finding a combo, taking a substantial lead on health right now. Bodvar down into that light orange, PXshadow at white yellow. And PXshadow continuing to extend his lead, not taking any damage for quite some time. Looking for those combos, he's finding all of them, denies one of the weapons, leaves no weapons left for Bodvar, and it is yellow to red health on the first stock. PXshadow looking to take game one early, looking to extend his lead. Bodvar is going to drop a mine, not going to do anything. PXshadow looks for the uppercut, doesn't find it, but does take the weapon pickup. There is one down for Bodvar. He is not going to find it, and PXshadow is going to get the side air unarmed for the finish. White-yellow health on this first stock, and this is going to be a best of 5. Bodvar looking to pick up the bomb, can't do anything with it, and PXshadow just constantly putting that pressure out and providing great gameplay with the guitars. This is why he is a high diamond player, why he's one of the best guitar users in the game. We're seeing the pressure that can come out from that weapon right now, and that's a great dodge from PXshadow to avoid the ground pound from Hammer. And he's going to keep pressuring, staying about a full stock ahead. And he's going to switch off from the guitars to the sword, and a great stomp into the side air combo from Bodvar, and the weapon toss will secure the kill. Rez at light orange health to Azuri's, or I'm sorry, PXshadow's white health. This is, again, PXshadow's game to win. He is in the lead. Bodvar is going to need to find a lot of damage quickly before dying, as he is now in that red. And PXshadow is going to be looking for a kill. He drops the combo, doesn't find the side air, and Bodvar gets a combo of his own. Azuri responds with another combo, doesn't quite find that weapon toss, looking for the ledge guard, looking for a neutral air or a downlight, doesn't find it, and Bodvar comes back to the stage, gets a combo. Rez just barely living through that neutral guitar sig, and he's looking to find whatever damage he can before he gets taken out to try and even it up when he's on his last stock. PXshadow actually in light orange now, not finding the unarmed kills he's looking for. Rez picks up the bomb, doesn't get anything from it, and PXshadow has Rez very close to dead, and there's the kill on the guitar side sig. PXshadow will take the weapon that he wants. He's going to go with the sword, and Rez has the sword of his own. PXshadow finding some combos and a ground pound and a downlight, gimping Rez a 0 to 100 kill, 0 to 100 real quick. PXshadow is going to take game one on Shipwreck Falls. And we're going to get into game two here. PXshadow will have the stage ban if he wants to take it, and Rez will have the pick that he wants. So we're just have a little bit of downtime here, waiting for game two to begin, waiting for the players to do the map bans and picks. We might see a legend change from Rez. That's a possibility, as PXshadow had a pretty convincing win in game one, but Rez will stick with Bodvar. That's the Bairdvar skin on the black color, level 25, 25,000 gold. PXshadow not going to ban a stage, and Rez will choose Mammoth Fortress for game two. Again, this is a best of 5. And we have Azuri versus Bodvar once again. We're into the same matchup for game two.
Three, two, one, brawl.
And Bodvar will take the first weapon. Who will get the sword? PXshadow not afraid to go in unarmed. Bomb on the map, but PXshadow doesn't pick it up, looking for those unarmed combos, and Rez maybe going to punish a little bit for PXshadow being a little bit too aggressive with the unarmed, maybe feeling overconfident after game one. Rez finding the early damage, taking a slight lead here, but we are still relatively even. PXshadow not finding the downlight, but not following up with the combo. That happens sometimes at a high elo when you don't think you're going to find the downlight and you end up getting one you don't expect. And Rez finds another great combo. He's got a ledge guard here. PXshadow makes it back, and Rez dodges into the dive kick from PXshadow. Rez with a big stock lead, looking to take an early kill here and maybe take game two for himself. PXshadow trying to recover. There's a bomb. It's dodged by PXshadow, and he recovers safely. Rez now in that mid-orange health range. PXshadow at red, closing the damage gap quickly. And Rez finds a nice downlight unarmed recovery combo. Kills PXshadow, and he's going to be looking to get as much damage as possible in this stock. Azuri not the best legend for finding those KOs. So Rez has some health to work with here on this stock, but he gets caught by the weapon throw and doesn't have his recovery to make it back to stage, and he's going to pay for his life with that. PXshadow doing a great job guarding the stage, closing the game out, closing the stock out quickly and bringing the game back to even. Putting out a ton of pressure on Bodvar, not letting him get a weapon, bringing him to that mid-yellow health before he's able to pick up a hammer. Showing some of the strength of high speed and high dexterity on a weapon like Katar's with Azuri. But Rez finding a lot of the hits he needs to with a hammer and taking the health lead here on stock 2. A nice neutral air from Rez. But PXshadow is going to find his Katars again, a weapon he feels very comfortable with. Rez finds the side air, looking to finish off this stock quickly before he's at risk of dying to the Azuri. But he does get down to red health, and PXshadow just barely going to live. Rez not finding the weapon throw and ground pound and getting punished for a slight misplay. That's what you see happen at the high diamond level. PXshadow able to take advantage of Rez missing his weapon toss and ground pounds, but Rez is quickly able to get the kill and bring this game back to very close to even. PXshadow with a slight health lead. Rez finding some of those sword combos, and PXshadow using a lot of the unarmed moves, finding a ground pound and ending that game very quickly. That was maybe Rez's game to win, but PXshadow found a couple of gimps to bring the game back and end it before it should have been over. And we are now looking for game 3 in this BO5. So we're going to wait for PXshadow to ban a map if he wants to do that, and for Rez to pick. PXshadow showing a little bit of confidence, changing off of his main, switching to a Tori, and to respond to that, maybe that a little bit of BM. Rez changes to Azuri himself. So we're going to see a very different matchup this game. PXshadow on Hattori and Rez on Azuri.
2, 1, brawl.
Both players choosing to opt for sword characters, however. And Rez looking to connect with a side light or a side air for some early damage. Not finding them, but he does find the neutral light. And we are close in health at this point. Neither player is finding big damage moves or combos on the other. PXshadow off to a slight lead. And Rez almost falling off the map there. Not quite catching the stage on Shipwreck Falls. PXshadow guarding the ledge very hard. One of his very clear strengths. A great slide charge on that down sig from PXshadow. Not quite enough to get the kill, but he does put good damage on Azuri, and that's a great signature from Rez, and he finds the kill on PXshadow. He says, "You can't BM me, you can't change off your main, I will win games if you do that." That is what we see at Diamond Elo. If you are not playing your main, it is very hard to take games off of another Diamond player. But PXshadow does even the stocks back up. He is a strong Hatari player. And both players looking to find the downlight attacks and try and take an HP lead in the stock. Rez may be looking for the Gimp, doesn't quite find it, but does put a good amount of damage onto PXshadow. PXshadow not finding the signatures and getting punished a little bit for some bad movement. Not looking as strong on Hattori as he looked on Azuri. Taking the spear instead of the guitars is definitely a disadvantage for him. PXshadow is a player who is known for being good on guitars, and Rez takes a large advantage, about 3/4 of a stock ahead. But as I was saying, PXshadow known for being good on guitars, playing characters like Sentinel, like Azuri, who can pressure hard, who are fast. So even though Hattori fits in that, she doesn't have guitars, which I would consider PXshadow's best weapon. I have played him many times in the ranked ladder, 1v1 and 2v2. He is a phenomenal guitar player, and you do see that he goes from looking dominant to kind of struggling when he doesn't have that weapon. And Rez, with a phenomenal gravity cancel neutral sig, is going to take game 3. And we'll see if PXshadow changes back to Azuri, and it looks like he will quickly change back. And we'll find an Azuri mirror for game 4. PXshadow definitely wants to keep those guitars, and we'll see how the Azuri mirror goes on Shipwreck Falls.
3, 2, 1, brawl.
PXshadow takes this. The set will be over if Rez takes it. We will go into game 5 for the tiebreaker at 2-2. PXshadow taking a slight early game lead, finding some light attacks. Both players playing very cautiously, trying to play safe while applying pressure with low recovery time, fast attack speed moves, and PXshadow has a nice weapon toss into a neutral unarmed there. But Rez is responding with a nice string of guitar moves, using downlights, neutral airs effectively as a string, and we are going to see Azuri versus Azuri, guitar on guitar right now. Two Diamond Elo players. A very good weapon toss from PXshadow, knowing exactly where he needs to put that weapon to make it fall onto the ledge if someone's trying to camp out there. But we do see a slight advantage to Rez here, and he's going to take the first stock at light orange health. If he can make the most of this stock and not die, he can take a substantial life lead on PXshadow, as he's not at a big risk of dying. PXshadow would need either a signature or a side air spike with the guitar off the stage to secure the kill right now. Even that recovery, if it had hit, is going to come close to killing now that Rez is approaching red health. That will be a more reliable kill move, the ground pound not connecting. But any damage Rez finds right now is bonus damage for his second stock versus PXshadow. As you see, he is fishing for that downlight combo a little bit with the sword, not quite finding it. Both players playing extremely cautiously. Rez not wanting to die, PXshadow not wanting to let Rez get free damage. PXshadow finds the weapon toss into the ground pound, and that's a solid kill. And he's going to opt for his sword. Sword on sword, Azuri versus Azuri now. We have another mirror, exact mirror going on. The HP is close. It is a slight lead to Rez, but PXshadow is looking to bring that back. And Rez finds a nice sword combo. And finds a nice down air, finding a nice life lead onto PXshadow at this point. Gonna need a bit more damage before PXshadow's in that kill range. But he is getting close. And Rez finding more combos once again. And a side light, putting a lot of damage onto PXshadow and definitely putting out a lot of pressure. But PXshadow not afraid to go unarmed and showing where his strengths come with that. An unarmed and a guitar player, PXshadow very good at both of those. I know that from personal experience. He's not a player I like to challenge when he's unarmed, but Rez will find the guitar kill on PXshadow. And that'll put him about 3/4 of a stock ahead, and this is certainly Rez's game to win. Looking to put us into a game 5. Rez doing very well with switching off his character for the matchup. We do have sword versus guitar. I do put that as a slight advantage to sword in that matchup. However, if you can get stacked with your opponent on guitar, it is certainly your advantage. As long as you can be in range to hit the guitar moves, you're in the lead. And PXshadow finds a fantastic neutral signature. And this game is very close. PXshadow not wanting to go to game 5. Rez looking to make that happen. We are 2-1 in favor of PXshadow right now in the Azuri mirror. PXshadow finding all of the right moves, putting a lot of damage out, but he is approaching red health now to the yellow health of Rez, and the amount of work Rez did on that first stock is really showing off right now. But PXshadow finding 3 side lights in a row. Not quite finding the signature, but both players are now in red, and PXshadow finds a phenomenal side light, and this could be game right here. PXshadow not finding the dive kick. Rez looking for the unarmed uppercut, not finding it. Both players very close to dying, and the sword throw happens from Rez, and this could be game right here. PXshadow goes down. That's going to be 2-2, and we are going to go into game 5. We are at the tiebreaker right now, and we're going to see Azuri versus Azuri once again. Rez liking that matchup. PXshadow certainly wanting to win. He says, "This is my main. You can't beat me on my main. This is my character." We'll see how game 5 goes. Shipwreck falls once again, and here we are live. PXshadow finding a lot of unarmed attacks, 3 hits in a row, but Rez fires back with the Katars. PXshadow on the sword, getting caught by more Katar neutrals. A lot of Katar attacks in a row, and we're at about even health. PXshadow looking to connect with anything. It's finding some weapon throws, fishing for the downlight, doesn't find it. Rez doing a very good job of keeping PXshadow from finding more than one attack at a time. And PXshadow finds the combo, does the weapon toss, doesn't quite connect with that though, and is now playing from the back foot for giving up his weapon, and Rez is maybe looking to take an early lead in the last game of this set. But PXshadow firing back hard unarmed, not afraid to go for the dive kicks, recovers safely, and both players giving up their weapons, neither afraid to go unarmed. And we have PXshadow Katars versus Rez on sword. Rez takes the first stock and gives himself an advantage. PXshadow back on Katars. Rez finds the combo, 3 light attacks in a row to take PXshadow to light yellow health. And if Rez can find another string of attacks like that, he will have a big advantage in this last game of the set. PXshadow not able to connect with any of these SIGs, and he gets caught, punished with a sword combo for trying to charge a SIG, and PXshadow down about half a stock, if not more already. Rez is looking to be a full stock ahead. Maybe put PXshadow down to 1 before he's down to 2. PXshadow not finding the ground pound, and Rez not finding the gravity cancel. Rez looking to recover. PXshadow not stopping him and giving up his weapon. Rez will take an advantage here. PXshadow finds the kill to even up the stocks, but he is at red health. And this is certainly Rez's game and set to win now. PXshadow has a lot of work to do to come back. PXshadow not finding the side SIG, but he does find a nice string of light attacks afterwards, punishes a miss SIG from Rez, and puts Rez into that white-yellow health range, into the mid-yellow with that side SIG. He does have a good amount of work to do to play catch-up in this game, but he's finding all the hits he needs to find right now. And Rez is almost looking a little desperate, fishing for those down lights, fishing for those SIGs. PXshadow is bringing this game back. Both players add that red health. PXshadow is certainly taking more damage on this stock, and barely goes down to the side air from Rez. If he can find that early kill, he can bring this back to even, but Rez finds several attacks in a row. PXshadow misses the weapon toss, doesn't quite close out the kill just yet. But he saves Rez's life after guaranteeing the kill. Might be regretting that one. Rez still not able to find anything, dies to the side signature, and PXshadow doesn't actually pay with any life for saving Rez. And we are very close, 1 stock to 1 stock in Game 5 of this set. This is the grand finals of a Brawl League Impromptu tournament with community colors on the line for first place, both players wanting to win that. The health is almost even with a slight advantage to Rez, and he finds the side light, but PXshadow fires back, and we are very close right now. PXshadow may be feeling like he has the advantage, playing his main character in this intense and close of a matchup, and he finds the side sig into the weapon toss, doesn't find the down light with the guitars, but he finds the down air, and he takes the life lead back right now. He's finding a lot of those light attack hits in a row to take a life lead, looking to put Rez into that KO zone, gets a side sig, not quite enough, maybe able to finish it off here with a mine, not quite with the mine, does not connect. Rez gets interrupted on the side sig from the dive kick of PXshadow, and both players are in red health. Either player could die to a signature or a spike, and there it is from PXshadow. Down air with the sword onto Rez. Game 5 in the set. PXshadow wins 3-2 in the Azuri mirror. Congratulations to PXshadow.